Hello, Mayank, are you on?
Yes, hello, doctor. Uh, yeah, I'm here, and I guess we have audience already. So
Great.
we'll start in a short while.
So let's see. I can see it. So you have. So let's see. We have Elizabeth. Can I see any of these people or no?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. You have a video or no?
I don't have video on. We're not going to use video if that's okay, just because of the bandwidth.
Oh, no problem. Can you see me all right
Because
though?
I have, yes, we can see you perfectly. I've 7 students here with me, and 3 are conducting it from home. So because so many of us are on the bandwidth at the same time, we're not going to use video from our side if that's okay. But everybody can see, yeah?
No, that's all
Yeah, they
right.
can all see.
Yeah. No, that's no problem. So everybody should know though that when we do actually run a class, everybody should be on video, because it's
Yes,
very.
when we do the actual class, we'll be in the boardroom using that, so it'll be a different scenario. But because we have some from the home, we're on separate units today.
Sure. No problem. Nice to meet you, Elizabeth.
Nice to meet you too.
So let's see. So we have, let's see who else we got here. So who's the ones at home when they say web? So is Omar at home? Omar, are you at home?
No, sir, I'm here in school with Elizabeth.
Oh, hi. Okay. So I see if it says web, that means like some. Oh, I can see you.
That,
Oh, that's Remna. I'm sorry. It just took
It's
away
me.
my.
Hi guys.
Hi, how you doing? It scared me there for a minute. So Omar, so you're in school in Mohammed. You're also in the classroom.
Yes, that's right.
I see. And Joachim, is it Joachim? Is that how you say it?
Jochen.
You say
Thank
Joachim,
you.
that's correct.
And you're in the classroom too, I see.
Yes.
Yes. And everybody else is outside the classroom, like Shama, for example. Are you at home?
No, I'm in the classroom.
Okay. I was trying to. Well, nice to meet you all. Anyway, I was just trying to understand the differences in the names. So that's great. Well, I'll tell you, the sound is wonderful. So I hope you guys can hear me well, because I can hear you guys really well.
Yeah, the sound is perfect.
Well, perfect is good. Perfect is good. So that's okay. So anyway, I know we'll be starting in a couple of 3 minutes, and I'll let the facilitators take over when the time is. But I am looking forward to talking to everybody. So I'll kind of hang out for a few minutes and be quiet. But everything's working great. So look forward to it.
Great, thank you.
Liz, I just wanted to check from your end, is there anybody else joining in?
Everybody who is here is here. There are 3 students that will be conducting it from home as well. So Bailey, Maria, who's the other one? And Mohammed. The 3 of those will be conducting it from home.
Okay. All right. Well, we have a couple of minutes, and then what I'll do is you let me know when everybody's on, and then we'll just sort of start. Or if everybody's there, then we'll start in 2 minutes. I think we have a couple of people who might be joining at our end as well, so we'll give them a couple of minutes, and then I'll just start with a brief introduction, and then we'll get it going.
Okay, great. Yeah, those 3 students are just transiting at the moment, so they're probably in traffic in Abu Dhabi. I know Bailey will be late, but we've said already that we'll start without him, and he'll join when he arrives, and he'll just watch the pre-report later then for the start of it.
Okay, sure. Well, we're recording the session, and so we'll share the video with you, and whoever is not able to join in, we can share it with them as well.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, super. All right. Well, I'll start in about a minute and a half or so.
Okay, perfect. if you want to go into the library, you can. Oh, no, you can't because it's locked. But you can go into the boardroom.
Okay, so Liz, if it's okay, should I get started?
Yes, we can start. All the students are instructed to be ready to start at 5, so I'm sure they'll join as soon as they get logged in. Thank you.
Okay, super. Right, so hi everyone, my name is Ramnik. I am actually heading the Columbia Business School Business Development, and I'm based out of Dubai. I am thrilled that you guys have made the time out to attend this sort of intro meet and greet session. And of course, I want to thank Dr. Jack for taking the time out as well. I know it's not very early, but I know that you have a busy schedule, Jack, so we really appreciate you taking time out and meeting all the students and everything. What we wanted to do over here today specifically was, because our session is starting in the next couple of weeks, we wanted to have sort of a meet and greet session today, just so that as students you would get to know Dr. Jack, and Dr. Jack would be able to get to know you as well. So what we thought today was, Dr. Jack and I were on the call just before this session, and we thought that we'll start off by you guys perhaps sort of introducing yourselves. So what I want to do is, of course, I just want to have, first of all, Dr. Jack give a little brief introduction about himself. And then what we'll do is we'll have all the students one by one just sort of introduce themselves. And we want to focus on 2 questions today for each student. And I know that we don't have a lot of time today, and we do have a good strength. So if all the students, if you guys can just focus on 2 questions today. One, introduce yourselves, your name, where are you from, what grade you're in. And then the questions that you want to focus on is, what is your favorite subject while you're in the school? And then what is that one favorite thing that you'd like to do when you're outside of school? And the whole idea today is just to sort of understand that. And what we'll try and do is, for me as well as for Dr. Jack, it'll give us a much better understanding as to what your strengths are, what you like to do, what your hobbies are, and it'll help us in preparing better when we actually start the course. So without me sort of taking much time, Dr. Jack, if you want to start by just giving a brief introduction about yourself, and then we'll move it to the kids.
Sure. Thanks, Ramnik, for the introduction. So hi, everyone. I know we were chatting earlier, and welcome to anyone who's joined us since I was last on, should I say. So my name is Dr. Jack McGourty. I am a faculty member at the Columbia Business School. I'm also the director of Columbia Business School's program called Venture for All, which is the venue or the vehicle by which we host international entrepreneurship programming. We started it with the very purpose of being able to provide the high quality education that we have typically at Columbia Business School, and provide it to folks that would be interested in learning entrepreneurship and interested in the experience of an Ivy League business school education. That's why we started. It was about almost 7 years ago. We've run courses in just about every delivery mechanism possible. You never know when you could, blend your love of football with physics or business too. I've had lots of students blend sports and business together for sure. Creating. I have somebody right now, a student in one of my classes, that's creating a virtual reality studio to play live football. So people can literally sit in their homes and watch the live sports like they're there. And then also communicate like gaming, like gamers do. So like your friends can be watching the game, and you could all be in different parts of the world even, and watching the soccer game and enjoying it like when you can't get to the live game itself. So that's certainly a cool business. So sounds and it involves technology for sure. So anyway, it was very nice to meet you, Mohammed.
Thank you, sir, for the conversation. Thank you.
No problem. You're welcome.
Hi, sir.
Hey, how are you?
I'm Omar. How are you?
Omar, how are you?
I'm good. So my two favorite subjects in school currently are chemistry and maths, because as Muhammad did, I just enjoy studying them academically. And outside of school, to be honest, I don't do that much, but I actually like clay pigeon shooting and going for walks.
Okay. So now, you have like ranges where you do the shooting, or is it?
There's like a sports resort. It's called Al Fursan Club, and you go there and they have like ski, trap, and sporting, the three main types, and they have like multiple range for each type.
That's pretty cool. So now, Jeff, what do you? What got you involved in that? It's really very interesting. What you woke up one day and go, I want to shoot some clay pigeons? I mean, what's the deal here?
The thing is, we have this thing in my family that my dad started shooting back in Egypt at like, I don't know, 5th grade or something. Like, it was crazy back then. They didn't have any rules, no regulations. And then I just picked it up from him, because my whole family there, my uncles and cousins, they would just like do it for fun there. So we just picked it up here because here it's more like professional and safer in a sense. So I just enjoy doing it here.
Yeah, well, it's a great sport. And I think people, I think we're all, because we watch TV and we think it's easy to shoot guns. Absolutely. It's not easy at all. In fact, I'm actually terrible at it. I've tried my, I have members of my family that are really into it, and they're good at it. And I'm like, I don't know, I'm just terrible at it.
Just dedication, pretty much. Yeah.
Did you ever think that you would go professional in the sport?
I had like 2 people tell me that, but that was like 2 years ago, and like no, to be honest, no, not at the time, no.
Well, you never know. It's got plenty of time to think about it. So anyway, that's really cool and unique, by the way. So that's very memorable. So anyway, nice to meet you, Omar. You're welcome.
Thanks. Nice to meet you.
Hi.
Hey.
I'm Joachim. Nice to meet you.
Joachim, how are you? And thanks for correcting my pronunciation, by the way.
No problem. So yeah,
and we have a kind of a famous actor, right, with that name. You think I'd get it right, but I don't get it right. So anyway.
Oh yeah. But yeah, my 2 favorite subjects my favorite subject in school would probably be Spanish. I don't know. I like a lot of language. Yeah, and I also take English, so those 2 would probably be my favorite subjects. And I compete at a high level of kickboxing outside of school, internationally. and I love hunting. I love just all types of sports. But I used to play a lot of rugby and a lot of football.
Well, there you go. So these are all tough sports. So yeah, my younger son played rugby in high school. So he played in New Jersey. We played, and it's really a really great sport to watch, especially. And both my sons are multiple black belts.
Oh wow!
So yeah, so probably not as good at kickboxing. They're really different. Like everything else, these are all different sports. That's why when you watch, go ahead.
What are they black belts in?
Taekwondo.
Taekwondo. I used to do Taekwondo before as well. I'm a red belt in Taekwondo.
Yeah, so you're familiar. So but this is all great stuff. Now, I mean, so you're really good at language. I mean, is that what you're? You pick it up quickly?
I mean, yeah. I've lived in several countries. I'm originally Norwegian, and then I've just lived in several countries my whole life. So yeah, that's pretty much why I like languages.
Yeah, actually, it's funny. The student that I talked about before, the virtual reality and soccer venture, the student is from Norway.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah. So he feels that region is it's underserved when it comes to being able to watch live soccer or football. So it's kind of interesting. So I don't know if you agree with him, but
no, that seems like an amazing idea.
Yeah, I would. Cool. Yeah, it sounds like right up your alley. I mean, So, anyways, very exciting stuff you do, and look forward to spending more time hearing about it.
Same. Likewise. See you.
See ya.
Hi.
Hi,
everyone. Hi, my name's Rola. I'm good. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Yeah.
What's the name? Tell me your name again. Tell me your name again.
Rola.
Oh.
I'm from Cyprus. It's Greek. So.
Okay. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. My favorite subject in school is probably English literature, because outside of school, I enjoy reading books and watching TV shows and movies.
So it sort of morphs into home life, right?
Yeah, it sort of does. Yeah.
Yeah, well, listen, it's reading is such a good thing to do, and so many people don't do it. But now let me ask you a question. So besides The Kite Runner, what else? What are some of the other things you've read lately that you liked?
The last book I read, I think, is called Will Grayson.
Okay.
Will Grayson. It's basically two boys that have the same name. The author is John Green, and it was a very interesting book. I prefer more realistic books rather than science fiction. So yeah, that was a good read for anyone.
And then what about television? No, so then what kind of a reader like you? What do you choose to watch on television?
Well, I'm currently watching a show called Suits. I'm sure everyone knows of. It started. It's about lawyers, so that it's actually quite interesting.
And it's based out of New York City.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know. My kids loved Suits, and they've been watched every. I think I don't know. Is it still going, or is it basically over, and you're just binge watching now?
I think it's still going. Yeah.
Oh, well, they're probably still watching it then. God knows. Yeah, they love that show. So yeah, it's interesting. So it's a very interesting blend. Now, what are you thinking about being a lawyer when you get older?
No, that's more for my sister. Actually, she's studying to be a lawyer. I'm not really into that right now.
So what are you thinking about?
Probably business management.
Business. All right. Well, we're on the right call then, right?
Yeah.
Though I will say, you can tell your sister, I actually have 4 students from the law school in my class this semester. So got plenty of lawyers also understanding that they need to be entrepreneurial, and that most professions, and this goes for everybody. I mean, whether you're a writer, right, a journalist, a lawyer, doctor, So much now depends on you also being able to run your own business that business skills have probably really need to be ubiquitous now, and they're not, but they should be. So, but I'm glad all you guys are, thanks to Elizabeth, I'm sure, getting all the stuff you need, because it's going to become really handy as you get older, for sure. So that's exciting stuff. Well, it's very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi. We also have Mohammed Abu Ali, who's online. Mohammed, are you there? Mohammed.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi, Mohammed. Do you want to turn on your video and introduce yourself?
Yes. Okay, is it there?
We can't see you yet. No.
Where do I go now? Okay, yeah.
Here you are.
Hi,
Mohammed.
All right, hi, how are you?
Hi, Mohammed. How about you?
Good. So my name is Mohammed Abu Ali. I'm 15. And during when I'm at home, I love music and designs and fashion and movies. And my favorite courses, I'm doing French, business, maths, and English literature. My favorite course is I think English literature. I think because I find it really interesting because all the books and everything. And I used to live in New York actually when I was younger, and then I moved to Paris and now here.
Oh, so well traveled on top of which here. So as many of you are, I'm sure. So I mean, between music, design, fashion, movies, I'm surprised you have time for school actually. I mean, you have so many great interests. So tell me a little bit about, so what music do you like? Let's start with you. Let's see what we
I don't know, I guess a bit of everything. It depends my mood, I guess. I could go from raps, classic, or pop or jazz, or India, and then it depends what language, French or English, because I find I see a big difference between those two types of music because I'm French as well.
Sure. Wow. So that's a very international view of all this. And what about the fashion side? What part of that do you like? I work with a lot of fashion businesses, so it's interesting.
So I skate a lot. I like to skate, and now there's a lot of fashion that's with skating. Do you know someone called Tyler, the Creator? I
don't, but tell me more.
He's a rapper, director, and he does really great things. He's a really influential person, and he has his own clothing brand, and there are many other clothing brands. They're not that known, but they're really nice. And I want to go to NYU once I graduate, and I want to start a business and work with fashion if possible.
Well, that's exciting. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, and also filming because my mom is a movie director.
Yeah, no, I think that would be great. I mean, I now when you say skating, I just want to. So, what do you mean by? Is it roller skating, ice skating, skateboarding? What are we talking about?
Skateboarding, yeah.
Oh, skateboarding. Okay, yeah. So, I mean, definitely, I can envision a whole line of fashion around that. I'm sure there's plenty of room, for new stuff. And I've had some students. I actually had. I don't know if you could relate the similarity, but I had a student who she felt that that women were underserved in having really fashionable attire for golf. Okay, while men tend to have sort of a feel, the women tend to be more. She felt tended to be more bland in their fashion choices. So she created a whole line of golf attire, very fashionable golf attire for women. So the only reason why I say it, so again, taking up almost like a sport or activity and building a whole line of clothes. It really gives you a nice focus. So that's a really interesting, goal of yours, I think. So very cool. Yeah, I hope to hear more about it. Very cool. You're welcome.
And Bailey should also be online now. Bailey, are you there? Can you turn on your video?
Yes. works.
We were worried about you, Bailey. Omar had told me that you weren't
Hey.
able to get on, so we're glad you're there.
No,
Hi.
but I fixed it. Yeah. Hi. How are you guys?
Good. Hi, Bailey. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you very much. So I'm 16 years old. I'm from Melbourne, Australia. I've lived in Abu Dhabi for 6 years now, and 2 years before I lived in the Philippines. I love playing football, soccer, and that's sort of what takes up, between that and school, takes up most of my time. And so with the team I'm playing for right now in this country, they've got a partnership with this SR Recruiting USA, which will help me try and get a scholarship into universities in America while getting a degree and playing soccer at the same time. I'm interested in taking up a business degree, doing a master's in either business management or business commerce. And I think that's interesting because I feel like I can branch out into many different sort of businesses, and it doesn't have to be the one sort of, business. And I can go into oil, I can go into fashion, a different variety of kinds. And yeah, so that's why I'm interested in doing this Columbia Business School, because I feel like it will not only help me getting good chances into good universities, but help kickstart my business career as well.
Yeah. So you're gonna follow in Beckham's,
yeah,
right? Because he's an
that's the plan.
right there, right?
Yeah, hopefully that's the plan. It'd be nice to play for Man United and Real Madrid.
Yeah. Well, you got the looks, so I think you're there. You could skip the tattoos maybe, but everything else is cool.
Thank you so
All right. No, that's very exciting.
You have just made Bailey's day, I think. I think that's just that comedy.
Thank you, Seth.
Yeah. Well, it's very nice to meet you, and that sounds like some really good, exciting future forward thinking. So I hope we can sort of hone in on something to build off that. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. I'm very excited.
Great. And Maria, are you online?
Thank you, guys.
Maria, you'll need to turn on your video and your microphone. Are you there? Hello?
Oh yeah, there we are.
Oh, we can't hear you.
Yep,
muted.
We still can, yeah. Well, she's not muted. Yeah, maybe let's see if she resets her audio.
Try reset your audio, Maria. Is the green line moving up as you speak beside the microphone? No, that means you're not reading.
Yeah, Maria, why don't you try and see there's a drop down right below where the bars are. So it might give you an option to switch your microphone or your headset and see if there's any option coming up. Also, there should be an option of computer audio versus phone call. So I'm assuming that you've checked the computer audio button.
No, can you see that, Maria? It's just on the left-hand side of your screen, where it says audio, then computer audio, phone call, and then there's the green. Well, it's not green for you because it's not making any sound. No? Why don't you type your introduction, Maria?
Yeah.
Maria, I hope you're a good writer. So while we're waiting, Elizabeth, that's okay, Maria. Take your time. You're not an English literature major, are you? Is that? So we'll have a new novel soon. But no, Elizabeth, any other questions you think I can address while we're, once we're all back together?
Well,
you
for
have a
us,
question?
yeah, in terms of the setup, is for us to actually deliver the course, it's advised that the students are together, correct?
Well, that's a hard question. I think it's we've done it so many different ways, and I think there are advantages and disadvantages to everything. But let's finish Maria, but we'll come back to this and we can chat about it. So let's see. Okay, Lebanon, business, computer science, math, and physics. Okay, so that about covers the majority of stuff. So that's a lot of great stuff, Maria. Anything in particular, like when you think about business and blend, do you have a business idea in your mind that blends computer science, math, or physics, or all of the above? Anything? Like have you ever thought about, yeah, I want to do this with computer science. I want to start a business with computer science or maths. Are you typing, I hope? Okay, good. So it's funny, when I taught about 40 entrepreneurs in Western Africa, it was in French. Okay, you're experimenting. Well, let me tell you, entrepreneurship is all about experimenting, Maria, for sure. And in fact, you have to think of it that way. In fact, when we teach it, we use a methodology. It's called the Lean Startup methodology. It's LEAN, the Lean Startup methodology. And it's if you really think about it, it's almost based on the scientific method. You know what the scientific method is? You can just shake your head yes or no. Yeah, okay, good. You don't have to tell. If we were in class, I'd probably be telling you to tell me what the scientific method was. Actually, if you hold on, does anybody else that's listening, can anybody tell me what the scientific method is? You don't have to come on, you can just tell us. Anybody want to add the audio? Elizabeth, you're staring at people, and then one of them has.
I'm giving them evils now. You can see that I'm telling them to turn their microphones on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Anybody
What have you science, physics, chemist?
Honestly, no, I don't know.
Neither do I.
Oh, you're covering us in glory right now.
Yeah, that's okay. That's all right. Because I can tell you what happens is they learn it when they're probably 4 or 5 years ago, and then you forget.
Yeah.
But so very simply, the scientific method, and you've all heard of it, is you have a hypothesis, right? You think something works a certain way. You make some assumptions, and then you go ahead and you test the hypothesis to see what the result is, right? So it's basically a scientific method. But what people forget about the scientific method is, and let's see if you guys know this. So let's say you had this idea and you went to test it. What would be the outcome you're working towards? All right. What outcome would you want to see? You have this great idea, you test it. What do you want to see? What's the result? Anybody? Omar, you know that answer?
No, I'm just guessing. Like, from what I understand now, the result you want will be the answer to your question initially. So if it agrees with your question or no, or like your thoughts or hypothesis, I don't know.
Yeah,
Omar, that it is an excellent common answer, and it's totally wrong, just so you know. But that's okay, because even all my MBAs would say the same thing. So yeah, I think, unfortunately, I think only, unfortunately, I'd say even some real scientists might get it wrong. Yeah, you're supposed to be working really hard to prove that you're wrong, all right? And that they actually call it the null hypothesis. So in other words, you want to do everything possible to disprove your hypothesis. And only then, if it's still, after you've done everything possible, if it still is proven within, they usually call it a 95% confidence, ban, then yeah, it's probably some validity to it. And yeah, of course, after that you want to, you know, do your happy dance, but you're not supposed to be doing that before that. And entrepreneurs, so you know, we really work hard for you to think about your ideas in this way, where you're constantly trying to validate different parts of your business model, and not get stuck just because you like the idea, right? Because you want to make sure it's more important that the customers like your idea and see value in your idea, because if they don't see value, then you really don't have a viable business idea. And even if you want to, if some of you want to start a social enterprise, you know, something that maybe is not for profit per se, or it's some hybrid of a for profit and a not for profit, you still, you know, if people aren't willing to use or practice what you're doing, then it's not going to work anyway. So you really have to stay open, and so actually the scientific method plays a big part in entrepreneurial development, if you will. So yeah, so we'll get you all to start thinking that way. It's really good to not get ahead of yourself in terms of thinking and getting stuck in a model that you have because you think it's cool. And I may be with you. I probably will think your idea is cool too, but we all have to kind of take a step back and try to, you know, not get swept away by that, by those feelings, and focus on, you know, what the customer thinks. And we're going to do all that in class. So, you know, we're going to talk about all this in class. So it should be a lot of fun. So, so anyway, yeah. So Elizabeth, should I answer your question now?
Sure.
Yeah, great. So, yeah, so for everybody, I think it really depends. So if everybody in the class, I mean, if the whole class and everybody was participating, was in the same room, you know, where I'm on a big screen, and then I could also see, even if I could see them, like, you know, where you had a camera focused the other way, where I saw the whole class. Let's just say that as one example. I did that in the Ukraine for a number of classes. And you know, with someone in the room that you know was like almost like a tech facilitator, just to make sure everything was working well. Then it almost feels like a class, and then I ask them questions, and they can answer, and they can talk. The advantage in a way is they could also easily talk to each other, as opposed to if everybody's, you know, in a different spot. But then we sort of have the Brady Bunch, right? You know. And that's okay too, because I'm you know, I'm used to facilitating that, and I can still get them to talk to each other, but it's a little different vibe. So I mean, the answer to your question is, you know, it's all about the internet in a way. If the internet is like, you know, Bradley, for sure. I mean, everybody had that was from home had good, and I'm sure Maria would have had good. She certainly her picture was clear. So. You know, if everybody has good internet and has a handle on the system itself, you know, whatever we use, it really won't matter. It really won't matter. So,
okay.
You know.
We have a boardroom here that we have audio and visual capabilities with. So if it works to have everybody in one room, I think it's probably the best option, and we can have you set up then where you can kind of look down a long table with the students seated either side. If you think that works.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, as long as you know, and yeah, we can always play when we get closer. We can always play with the design. You know, we could do a test run. You know, see what the cameras look like. You know, that kind of thing. Make sure that like the people on the other end of the table, you know, we can hear it clearly. You know, because we do want to have interaction. You know, I mean, you know, I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but.
Joachim, you're in the boardroom at the moment. Can you turn on your video and see what it looks like? That's if Joachim is paying attention in the boardroom. Thanks, Joachim. Just do a bird's eye view there. So that's the TV at the end, and it's just a boardroom table like that. Joachim, bring your laptop down and just set it by the TV just to see what it looks like with the view from there.
Thank you, Joachim. This is very, you might have a job as a guide too, I think.
So yeah, to be a setup like this, do you think something like that would work?
We could have a fire. I don't know, maybe like that.
Yeah, no, I mean, certainly. So Joachim, are you holding anything, or can you? You're moving the computer around. I wanted.
Just set the computer down, Joachim, at the end of the table, and go to the other end.
Yeah, there you go. That's exactly what I wanted to do. So Joachim, go down the bottom.
Like here?
Yeah. Well, I can certainly, I see you. Hi, Joachim. So, so I have to keep my glasses on for sure. But yeah, I would say that, that's certainly one way. Now, let Joachim stay there. Now, you see, well, I'm on your computer now. But that TV screen is small, right? What size screen is that?
I think is it a 52, is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
43?
Yeah,
If you were on that, I think it's more than big enough, to be honest.
Okay, well, that's fine, because you're there and I'm not. So that's, yeah, I just want to, because, there's a, and this would be, everybody understands this, is like when you're looking at your computer screen now, right? There's an intimacy, right? Like you all see me talking, we're close, all right? And, I see Elizabeth there with the beautiful drawings behind her, and it's all, it's very, the distance will make some sort of difference. I don't know what it'll be, and I won't worry about it, but I just want to make sure that you guys are comfortable. But look, Elizabeth, as I said, we've done it in so many different ways that I don't have a preference. I just want to make sure that we can interact. So everybody.
I'm not sure. Are you guys able to hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Bailey.
Yeah. So I think the TV, there's a camera on the TV as an MS, or you can use your laptop. Yeah. So you can easily see the TV from the chair that Joachim's. If Joachim to his left, you can easily see the TV from there. And I think if it's okay for you, Dr. McGourty, that it should be okay.
Okay. All right. Well.
Yeah, I was just thinking.
I agree.
Okay, that's a good idea.
I was just thinking, Liz, what I'll try and do is I'll come over, of course, to the school, and we'll set it up before, as Dr. Jack said. We'll do sort of a run through just to make sure everything's working. We do have a audio facility, so while we'll have the video on the WebEx, we can still have audio through a conference line. So we could do a number of tests and everything to make sure that it's running, and then we're able to see and hear everybody clearly. So I'm sure that we'll be able to figure that out.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things we will be able to do if they're all in the same room is, let me just ask a question. When we run the session, will you be the only group in the session, or will there be other people outside of this room?
That's a question for Ramnik, isn't it? Preferably all of our group would be here. I think there's one student from another school that might join us as well from the team.
Yeah, and there will be a couple of kids from other schools, specifically in Dubai, Dr. Jack. So they're not going to be able to actually travel to Abu Dhabi. So we will have a live WebEx session from Abu Dhabi as well as Dubai.
So they'll all be on, I'm just trying to think. So everybody will be on, we'll all be on the same system, right? We're not going to be dual system. So I guess what we're saying, so we'd have one account open in your school, Elizabeth, right? Which would be setting up. So they see me, and I guess we'd have a student, so to speak, or have the TV be like a student. So I see everybody else, right? So that's probably how that works. And then the other students, because I want the other students to see everybody, and everybody in your shop to see the other folk, right? I want everybody to be able to see everybody in some way or another. So that I don't know. I have to, we'll have to talk through that outside. We don't do that now, because I do want to make sure that everybody has, equal advantage to be able to interact. Now, what we could do is you could still have everybody, sorry, I didn't mean to solve it right now, but just thinking it out loud. you could have everybody every one of your students also logged in separately, right? I mean, we could have as many WebExes as we want.
Yeah.
So that's another. So they could still they'd be together. You know, they'd be they could watch the television screen, but they could also see students outside on their screen, something like that.
On their own screen. Yeah. Yeah, we could. That sounds good as well. We could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
it's going to
definitely
be
have
like
to
what
do
we're
it
doing right
fast.
now. I was just saying it's going to be like what we're doing right now. So Liz is in Abu Dhabi, I'm in Dubai, and you're in New York. So and I can see 3 screens. I mean, my video is off right now, but we can have 3 screens on, and like I said, we can have a phone-in facility. That way, nobody's you know, there's no echo or anything like that, and we can mute whenever whichever group is sort of talking. So I'm sure we'll be able to figure that out.
Yeah, it's just because I'm conscious of the bandwidth and having the capabilities of all of them on with video at the same time as well, because sometimes the bandwidth can be limited. So that was just my suggestion on that.
Yeah. Yeah. No. And maybe you know, we'll figure it out. Maybe we even just have, you know, a few of them up and running so people can lean over to the person next to, you know, they can share, you know, the view. We'll have to think it through. I mean, it's a good question, but we'll figure it out. We'll make it work. Either way, we're gonna make it work. It's okay, no problem.
Does anybody have any questions at this point for do you have any questions?
Just an overview of the course.
Ask it.
Hi, doctor. I do have a question. So, how long is the course, and what will we be doing exactly?
Yeah, so you know, again, I'm not sure what you've seen, but it's typically it's 10 sessions, 10 sessions at 90 minutes a session. So does that track with what you guys have been talking about, first of all?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Only because I have a lot of conversations going on at any one time, so I just want to make sure that that is the typical. That's the one you know, I've done this long enough to know that anywhere between 75 minutes and 90 minutes is about all you're going to be able to tolerate. You know, it's almost like a regular, like my MBAs. You know, my MBA class is 3.5 hours. And I can tell you 90 minutes in, it's hard for them to pay attention anymore. So I don't know what happens the rest of the 2 hours. But you know, for sure 90 minutes will keep things rolling. We're going to cover the full entrepreneurial process. Basically, it depends on how you want to do it. But if you want to work on a venture by yourself, or you want to team up, you know, with you guys all being together, you may want to create some teams, like a couple of you work together on a project. I would encourage that. But I'm going to be sort of venture agnostic, if you will. So I'm going to think of the classes I'm working with a number of ventures. So you will either pick something you want to work on, or you and a peer will pick something together to work on, and then we'll basically be walking you through the process of building out that startup from the initial idea that you come up with to you know, basically the ability to be able to present your startup idea to funders, investors, and things like that. And you'll have weekly assignments, very structured assignments, not super heavy workload, but you know, it's definitely going to take some work, which is one of the reasons why I encourage you guys maybe working in teams, because I think, you know, being able to sort of divvy up some of the tasks help. Sorry, there's a little bit of echo going on. So, you guys getting all this okay?
Yeah. Can you also hear us?
Yeah, Liz, I think your mic and Mohammed's mic is on. So if any of you could just mute, I think it'll remove the echo.
Now I hear silence. Anyway, so you can still hear me though, right, Elizabeth? Yeah, okay. So anyway, to go back, so over the 10 weeks, we'll start. There are 10 modules. We basically do one a week, but it doesn't quite work that way because, you know, we double up in a couple of sessions. But we'll start. We start with the idea where we get you to articulate the problem that you're trying to solve, what the opportunity looks like, who you think the customer is, what value you provide the customer. We then move into building out an initial business model and set up sort of the thinking around what I mentioned before, testing some of the assumptions around the business model. We then move into a deeper dive into the customer. We talk about customer segmentation. We talk about market sizing and things to that nature. We then move into from customer more into the market, where we look more at the industry ecosystem and the competitive landscape. You do a deep dive on studying your competition. From there, we move into product design, and we create ways for you to build a test with your customers. It's called a minimum viable product. Think of it as an early prototype for now. And from there, we move into finance, the financial aspects of starting a business. We focus on some of the core issues around the core aspects of what the revenue model is, what your cost structures are, what the cash flow analysis would look like, and what something we call customer acquisition cost. So we some of the core things that you need to think about. You typically do a one-year financial set of financial statements around your projected statements around your business. We have a marketing strategy section, and then we have a team and organization session. So does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
Okay. Did I miss something? Would you like to see something different?
No, that's more than enough. Thank you.
Yeah, it should keep you busy. But also, I think these are the core things and it's exactly what we do at the MBA. You know, you'll be doing a little less work. You know, some of the depth will be different, but also because we're only spending 90 minutes and we're not spending 3.5 hours. But you know, it's essentially the same content that we would do both either at a college level or a graduate level. There's really no difference in the sequencing of it at all. So you'll get exposure to what we do for sure. And by the way, I've had not only have I, as I said, not only have I done this in this region, but I've had several students from the Emirates, for example, you know, in my summer high school program in New York, and in fact, I had 3 of them that worked together on a project, came back, was part of some, I think it was in Dubai, but it was some venture competition, you know, for youth, I believe, and they came in second. So I think, you know, and they learned the same sequencing. So I think the content you're going to find very, very engaging. My main goal, certainly, hopefully some of you will actually start something up, because you'll certainly be able to. You know, you will have all the foundation to, let's put it that way. But you'll also know that this is a repeatable process, right? So that when you have other ideas, some of you have already said that you've got a number of ideas. So you'll be able to, next time you want to work on the next idea, right? You'll know exactly the steps you have to take. So you'll walk away with that knowledge of the process knowledge, if you will.
That's great. I look forward to it.
Okay. Any other questions out there? I can't hear you anymore, Elizabeth. So
I have a lot of shaking heads looking at me, so I think they've heard what they wanted to hear for this point.
Okay.
Sorry, Dr. Jack, I actually had a question, might actually help the students. So we know that the course is starting in a couple of weeks. Is there any advice that you can give the kids as to if they need to prep anything, or if they need to have anything, you know, before the first session, or you know, sort of just have a blank slate and we'll start from there?
Yeah, no, once we get started, all right, so or a week before we get started, we will have to first of all, I'll need everybody's name and the email that they're going to be using for the learning management system. I'm assuming it's the school email, but whatever it is, it is. But just you can't, just give me what you want the either what you want, Elizabeth, what you want the student to use, or what the student wants to use. But let's not change it once you give it to me, because I'm going to set it up in the system. They'll go into the name of the learning management system is Canvas. I don't know if you guys have heard of that or not, but yeah, I'm sure you use something in the school like Schoology or some learning management system. So we use the business school uses Canvas, and you'll get an invite to the Canvas system, and there'll be a pre-assignment. The pre-assignment will basically be asking you to, do you have an idea that you want to work on? Are you working on it with another one of the other students, and that kind of thing. So it'll set the stage for, so we can hit the ground running in week one. So there's definitely a pre-assignment. It's just one worksheet. It's not difficult. But yeah, we'd like you to come in with something you'd like to work on, and that's one of the reasons why I asked you to start thinking about your interests. Because some of you may have an idea you want to work on, right? I want to work on skateboarding fashion, and there you go, you're off and running. I got it, let's do it. And some of you may go, yeah, I don't really have an idea, but I want you to start to think about doing something. And as I said, if you want to pair up or even do a 3 people, that's perfectly fine. I'll just need to know as early as possible so I can set the system up properly.
Great, and I worked on Canvas before, so Liz, what I could do is I could come in and maybe have a brief training session. It's a really simple, very easy to use LMS, so we could train the students and
yeah, that would definitely be good to get trained up on it first.
Yeah, sure. and I would suggest, Elizabeth, you go on it too. I'll put you on as as an instructor, so to speak, just so you're in it, so you can observe anything you'd like. I like Canvas because everything is documented and it's all there, so it's very clear.
Great, that sounds perfect.
Yeah, and it's the real deal. It's the Columbia Business School Canvas, so it's you're going to go online, you're going to see Columbia Business School, and that's it. You're in.
Good.
So
that's
it's official.
A big part. The draw for the experience for the students is that it's like you say, the real deal.
Yeah, it's the real deal, all right. So I'm fortunate enough that Columbia is a lot. I have so many Canvas classes. I mean, it's like I think I have more than any other professor. It's like, Jack, you have so many. You have a bigger list than anybody else in the whole school. And well, what do you want me to do? It's the way it is.
Good.
So,
that's it. That's a good way to be.
Yeah, why not? Why not? All right, well, I know you guys had a long day, and I look forward to, now the class, is it going to still be 8:30 my time, and what is that, 5:30 your time?
Yeah, I think it's going to be 4:30 to 6 if possible, because as you say, that we already have a very long day as it is, because we start here at 7:30 in the morning. So school ends at 4:30, so we're hoping to go 4:30 to 6 if possible.
Yeah, I don't know what that means, my time. What does that mean, my time?
Well, yeah, I think it's going to start for you. It's going to be about 8:30, but then the change of the timing kicks in. So I think you'll be an hour later, right? So, but I'll send you an email just to make sure that the timing and everything is right. So we'll get that covered.
Yeah, and it's going to be Mondays. Is that the way I understand it?
No, Wednesday. Is it Monday or Wednesday? Is the ASA?
Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Okay, Wednesdays. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. That's still fine. Okay, good. All right, that's fine. Probably was. Maybe that's what it always was. I don't know. I have a lot of online classes going at once. Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfectly fine. Because I have an 11. Not that you care, but I have an 11 a.m. Class on Wednesdays, so I just got to be done. So yeah, that should work out all right, right? 8:30 to 10. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I want to thank everyone. Liz, thanks for organizing this. Dr. Jack, thank you for this session. I think it was really good session, a lot of learning to start with, and I think we're all really excited and looking forward to it. So thank you, everybody.
Okay, thank you. Guys, turn your microphones on. Say bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Nice meeting everybody.
Nice meeting you.
It was good. Nice to meet you.
Bye-bye.
Take care, everyone. All right. Cheers. Bye.
Bye. Hello? Remnick, you still on? I guess not.